Hey Algebra 1 honors, this is the homework video for solving literal equations. That means you're basically manipulating to solve an equation or a formula for a certain variable. And so let's walk through a few of them. I'll do half of them with you and kind of walk you through them, and then you're to try the other half. So the first thing I look for is, what am I solving for? I'm given the equation 3x minus 4y equals 7, and I'm trying to get x alone. So I start looking on this left side and I start thinking about how I can move everything except for x from the left to the right. So the first thing I see is, if I want to move this minus 4y, let's add 4y. And I went ahead and put 4y in front of 7 just because that's more of a proper way of writing it. Whenever you have a variable, you should put it with the highest powers in the front, and any constants should be in the back. So that leaves me with 3x, and if you notice, I've already divided that number over to get my solution here. Now, it's okay that I still have y in my answer. In fact, I should. You cannot get it all the way down to just like x equals a number, because there's multiple variables in the equation. So let's look at another one. Solving for y in this one, and the first thing I notice is that y is on the left, and I want to go ahead and move that 1 that's adding to the right side by doing the opposite, which is subtraction. And then similarly in the first question, it's up against 15 and y are butted up against each other, which represents multiplication. So I just divide that over, and now I have y by itself. And I wanted to kind of show that you could really write these in either way. Like in the first one, I divided both numbers by 3, that's fine. Or I could just say the whole side, or the whole top side, is divided by 15. Those are really the same thing. So number 3, I'm trying to get x by itself. So similarly, I have an adding or subtracting step. I'm going to go ahead and move 2y from the left to the right. And then I want to divide the e over to the right side. And now I have x by itself. So some of these are starting to feel very similar to their behavior in terms of how they move. Let's look at another one. Trying to get y by itself. So again, wanting to kind of go ahead and get this a to the other side. And then if you remember what we talked about in class, is if I want to get this 3/5 to the other side, 5 is dividing, so I'm going to multiply it. And 3 is in the numerator, so that means ultimately it's currently multiplying, so I need to divide that number over. And so that is basically the same as taking what we call the reciprocal. So I've multiplied by the opposite of 3/5, 5/3, to the other side, and then I went ahead and put that in the front of the equation, and it needs to look like distribution, because that 5/3 needs to hit every single value that's on that side. And now you got your final answer, y equals 5/3 of b minus a. Alright, so I'm going to do one more with you, and I'm going to do number 6. I'm going to leave you to do number 5. It's very similar to the other one, other ones that we've been doing, and then 7 and 8, 9 and 10, just give those a shot, and we'll see how well you did. So 6 is a little different because I'm trying to get y by itself, and currently that whole side is being divided by 3. So I like to go ahead and target that, to go ahead and get that number out of the denominator into the other side. And so 3 times c, 3c. So now I drop by plus 2, and now I need to subtract that 2 to the other side, and then finish that problem out by dividing to get the final answer here. Y is supposed to equal 3c minus 2 all divided by b. So if you're kind of daunted by this homework, it is kind of the most challenging part, I think, for most students when we're in this first chapter. Solving equations is something most students have seen before. Solving inequalities they may have done a little bit as well. But solving literal equations where you're simply moving around all these variables, that may feel new to you. So definitely give these next problems a shot. Star the ones that you have questions about. In the first few minutes of class on Monday, I'll take any questions that you have. Good luck, and enjoy your first weekend of the spring semester.